the Chevrolet Caprice police pursuit vehicle. This is the car that is probably going to pull you over. I'm Jay, and welcome to a special edition of CarBuzz Unboxing Reviews. So the last special edition review I did was of the Ford Explorer Police Interceptor, but the difference between that car and this one is that the former was considered a supervisor's car. This one is a daily patrol vehicle. And I also want to thank the Palo Alto, California Police Department for letting me get this close and check this car out today. I mean, I've never been arrested, so I've never been in the rear seat, but I've also never sat in the driver's seat of one of these cars before, so I'm really excited to show this to you. So one of my first impressions here was that it kind of looks like a regular civilian car. Remember, this Caprice, it's based off the Holden Commodore that's built in Australia, but the civilian version is the Chevrolet SS. I'll tell you what the difference is in a few minutes, but the overall dash layout, except for that big laptop and this totally different center console with the radio and the controls for the sirens, is very different. But all this extra equipment that's packed into this car, it just adds a ton of weight. The electrical system uses a 110 amp main power supply, and there's a 120 amp auxiliary unit in the trunk. And with all that added interior weight, you have to have these upgraded brakes and suspension so that the car can handle all of it. And take a look at that big front bumper. In case of a front impact collision, the police officers sitting up front will be well protected. You got these 18-inch steel wheels with bolt-on center caps, all-season tires. There's even a roof-mounted radio. And what's kind of cool is that there's a couple of holes that police departments can order to be put in the roof. Like, it comes installed like that from the factory. One is in the center and one is on the passenger side, and that is where you can put the radio, the transmitter, lights, all that type of stuff can be installed aftermarket if the police departments want. But the problem is with those is that sometimes police departments sell these cars to civilians when they're just retired, and civilians are then stuck with a hole in the roof possibly, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to fix. Another cool feature that this car has, it's called surveillance mode, and basically it works that all the automatic interior and exterior lighting is extinguished and the radio is blacked out, and all the manual lighting control, it remains functional, but that surveillance mode, it's obviously made for stakeouts. And kind of a cool fact I want to share with you is that the first police car in the US was in 1899 in Akron, Ohio, and it was really nothing more than an electric buggy that had gongs for sirens, but it weighed about 2.5 tons, which is about the same as an SUV today. And the first person the Akron police actually arrested was a drunk guy for disorderly conduct. Go figure. But what's funny is that 1 year later, rioters actually dumped that car into a canal. Alright, so under the hood here, this is a 6-liter V8. It's got 335 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. All that power is sent to the rear wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission. But the standard engine that Chevrolet offers in their police cars is a 3.6-liter V6. That only has 301 horsepower. But what's really cool is that they offer this V8 for no extra charge. So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to go with the V8. I mean, big V8 powered rear-wheel drive sedan. How cool is that? It's like the old Ford Crown Victorias that are out of service. All right, so these front seats here, they're these cloth bucket seats with this heavy-duty foam. It's sculpted for like the gun and the utility belts that police officers wear. And the fabric is like this high wear fabric that can just withstand a lot of usage over time. But the driver and passenger, they do have these four-way power with lumbar and manual recline functions. And they even have 10 inches of space between them. The rear seat. This is literally it's like jail. You're on your way to jail, probably. There are these vinyl-covered seats. You can't even unlock or open the windows or unlock the doors, obviously, from the back. You're just caged in there. There's literally zero legroom, and those vinyl seats are there so that they're just easy to clean off. Imagine a drunk guy just laying here, and you got to clean that up somehow, easily and quickly. Now, this car, I'm sure you're familiar with it. The Chevrolet SS V8 sedan, really popular. Well, it hasn't been as popular as GM would have liked, but amongst enthusiasts, the Chevy SS is really cool. That car is powered by a 6.2-liter V8 with 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. So the civilian version of this car is more powerful. But what's kind of interesting as well is that you think about a police car, it just drives a lot. So when they go to sell it maybe on the used market, does it kind of matter in terms of mileage? Not really. Because there's an alternative here, is that a mechanic will know how long the car has actually been running, because these police vehicles, they have hour meters on them that measure how long the engine has been running, even if it's in park or neutral. So how fast does this thing go? Well, Chevrolet claims it's got a top speed of 155 miles per hour. But what's really kind of funny is that it can go a top speed of 37 miles per hour in reverse. And of course, in between that 10 inches of space between the front seats, you have to have that police issue assault rifle there, held firmly in place with a gun rack. And of course, come on, you gotta have a big trunk in one of these. A lot of space, put all your files, flares, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, you name it. And of course, there's no way for this to fold flat into the rear seat. That would obviously be stupid. Because in no way can you let someone being arrested have access to what you see in the trunk. Speaking of being in the back seat, this sucks. It is really uncomfortable, especially when you're cuffed. And the way the seatbelts are designed is that the police officer doesn't have to lean over you to buckle you in. If you need a little bit of air or just to yell at the officers or taunt them, you have a little window there. There's even a camera so they can watch just about everything that you're doing. But being in that back seat, I mean, it's not comfortable at all. No legroom, your hands are cuffed behind you. Jail might even be a more comfortable place to be. At least you get a bed there. Coffee cups, of course. Here's that engine sound. So yeah, hearing those sirens is pretty much what we're all used to. I think there's 3 different siren modes depending on the situation that the officers can choose from. And these are really cool. These are those manually controlled spotlights. There's a little lever inside on the A-pillar, and you just control it with your hand. And they're really, really bright. But if anybody thinks, like you see in the movies, that you can just jump into a police car and steal it, you're totally wrong, because it's just not really possible. This car, like pretty much every other police car, it has a feature called run lock, and it allows the officer to remove the keys but keep the car running, so the lights, siren, etc., all that can still function. So if anyone touches the brake pedal or the parking brake, the car will just automatically shut off. But then again, you got to think about it, the officer needs to remember to remove the keys in the first place. So, yeah. So supposedly, even though, like I said, the mileage itself doesn't really count all that much, Chevrolet claims this car can go for around 150,000 miles before it needs any real serious service. Like I said, everything here it's just real heavy duty, and it's just made to take a beating. So everyone, thanks for watching. I'm out of time for today. If you have any suggestions for future special edition Car Buzz unboxing reviews, let me know in the comments section. If you have any more questions for me, also leave those for me in the comments. I promise to get to them. Be sure to subscribe to this Car Buzz YouTube channel and check out my next time.